I'm Anand. I'm the Mapilai, as Uncle dearly calls me. Um, I known Uncle for the last 29 years, but mostly got to know him well after my wedding with Rohini. After our wedding, Rohini and I decided we're going to bring our parents over to USA so we really get to know them better. So auntie and uncle came over to US for about 4 months in Dallas, spent with us. During that trip, I spent a lot of time with uncle. We took a lot of walks together, played tennis. We shared a number of drinks together, as well as road trips, real long road trips. I used to have a lot of energy to drive, and he used to have a lot of energy to speak. So we used to sit next to each other with both auntie and Rohini behind us and engage in very long, protracted conversations. Uncle shared with me a lot of his stories about his childhood, how he was raised by a single mother, 7 brothers who fought as well as fend for each other, how the older brother was looking after the younger brothers, and in that process he communicated to me how family was important, and the fabric of family is what he cherished and always looked forward to. And a lot of these stories resonated really well with me. These are the same values I cherish, and these are the same values that were imbibed in me by my folks. So by the end of the trip, Uncle and I were less of father-in-law and son-in-law, but more a friend-in-law for me. So our initial start-off relationship was pretty sound. Uncle is an extraordinarily curious person. During the first few trips, when he was in the United States, he used to get very curious about everything, the electronics. Those days we used to have a lot of fancy electronics in U.S. and he used to get enamored by them. But at the same time, he used to be reserved in using them because he's afraid that he might ruin those electronics. So one day I was talking with him and I said, Uncle, these electronics are designed so beautifully that an average person cannot ruin them. So go have a ball with them. And he got so excited. Really? I can't screw these electronics? And next thing I saw him shouting, hey, Watts, did you know, Mapile tells you can't destroy these things. So next thing, he was actually playing with these electronics and he was having a good time. Before I knew, he was telling me all the special features because of his nature. He goes and reads up. He normally raises early, takes his walk, and by the time I'm getting ready to go to office, the first thing I hear is, hey, Mapile, do you want to have a cup of coffee? And we have a cup of coffee, and I know for sure he read about something. It could be about Mitt Romney, it could be about Republican Party, it could be about some policy they introduced in telecom, or a war that broke out in some part of the world, whether it's Israel or Europe, Eastern Europe, or somewhere in South America. He raised the topic and we engage in that conversation. He gets a perspective from me. And once I leave to office, he goes into deep research mode. And when I come back after dinner, he has all ample information he's ready to share. And again, that kind of facilitates a deeply engaging, very detail-oriented, very thought-provoking conversation between us. And that's really the most enjoying part with Uncle. And the topic could be anything. Sometimes he asks me about what I do, how we build business, how we build products, how telecom is important. He takes extraordinary curiosity in not just one aspect of life. It's politics, sports, NFL to cricket, Republican Party in the U.S. to the BJP government in the Indian state. The religion, Hinduism, Christianity, you name it. Any aspect of life is very interested, and that's the part we really enjoy having deep conversations with. Uncle is one person who understood life is short. Most of us know that, and I know a lot of people of his age group that accepted it. but they do very little about it. Uncle is one person, he actually acted on it. In fact, I would say only one or two people that I've seen in my entire life who said, life is short, let's do something about it. So when he quit his job at age 53, we had a conversation about it. And I said, well, Uncle, you have a thriving career, you're helping people, you're engaging in society, what do you want to do? Why would you quit? Well, he had certain fears. He communicated to me that majority of his older brothers passed before 60, and he felt if he's going to have shorter span of life, he's going to use that time to do things that are meaningful to him. The material possessions didn't have much meaning for him. So Maple, one house, two house, three house, or one car, two car, big car, small car, all of these have very limited meaning. So he has defined his life and what he wants to do, and that essentially become his children and their children, the grandkids, and the time he spent with all the grandchildren, growing up, playing with, participating in all the family events, traveling the world, as well as enjoying living in India on a split time basis. So I really appreciate the vision he had. In fact, he opened my eyes to the fact that it is a short life, and you got to do something that's meaningful. And I admire him for that vision. Uncle is a great historian. He's well read and is very interested in discussing various events of the history. As for me, my business takes me to various parts of the world. One of the most interesting trips I had was to Nablus in Palestine. And post the trip, I took a few extra days to visit Jerusalem and Bethlehem. And of course, the whole experience was surreal. So I knew Uncle would be very interested about my experiences and what I've seen and witnessed in that part of the world. So I shared a bunch of pictures with him. When we met together, we discussed quite a bit, and starting from how I felt being there, engaging with the border conflict and my experiences meeting with Arab families as well as Jewish families, the discussion very quickly went all the way to the birth of Judaism, or existence of Judaism, to the birth of Christianity as well as Islam, and how various events in history have transcended into the development of different religions and spread of the religions into the Roman Empire and formation of the church, and what led the intensity of current situation in the Arab-Jewish part of the world. And these are the very interesting and engaging conversations, the level of detail we go into, and how much you learn post that conversation. You know, of course, I learned a bunch that leads me to go think about other things and read up and re-engage with Uncle. Most certainly, I'll miss these engagements going forward. I don't think there's very many people out there who want to understand and to know how to engage in such deep conversations. When Uncle visited me first time, as a formality, he had to bring some gifts. And for me, they didn't know what to buy, so they ended up bringing a Park Avenue shirt, nicely packed, stiff cotton, and as always, you know, when somebody visits us, you know, we unpack the bags, uncover all the sweets and goodies from India, which we never used to get those days in where we live, unlike today. Anyway, I usually am very picky about what I wear
and for courtesy, I took the shirt, and then after that, I told Rohini, uncle and auntie don't need to bring anything for me. This isn't something I expect, and also, it'll be something that'll be wasted. So anyway, uncle did not get offended, and of course, we kind of hung out and we got to know each other. I think he was comfortable. As he visited us next time, of course, even though we said we're not expecting anything, he started thinking about what to bring. And I think he has identified something really cool, something really good that I would like, and that's not available in the US. And you wouldn't believe what he bought for me. He got me 3 lungis, lungis that my wife hates, and I still to date use these lungis, and of course uncle and I both wear lungis and drive auntie and Rohini crazy.
I last visited uncle in Feb 2020, and I had no idea that would be my last visit to him in person. He was highly energetic. He asked me how I'm doing, how my health was. In fact, I told him I'm developing some small problems, and he took me and he bought me some prescriptions that I should use, and he refused to tell me what that is. He insisted in driving me back and forth from the airport. He told me the new gigs that are in town, new food joints that came in. So we went for, of course, they cooked 1 meal for me, and then the remaining 2 or 3 meals, we went and ventured out, eating out special food. Uncle is a big foodie. So even though I like simple food, I really enjoy the aspect of him ordering all this variety of food and tasting and enjoying it. So, well, we had a really good blast. It's hard for me to process the last 6 weeks that he's no longer with us. And the regret I have is that I couldn't be there for him, with him, to help him get through the last 6 weeks. And I hope wherever he is, he's looking down and blessing us to the right things in our lives. Thank you.